Hello. So today we're going to continue with section 5.1. This is what we did last Wednesday. We still have 2 objectives to go, right? Objective 3 and objective 4. So 5.1 still from last week we haven't finished. Oh, sorry. Let me ask you something before we start. If a system of 2 linear equations have a solution, how many have or have not a solution? How many scenarios do you see? How many scenarios do you, if you graph it, the 2 lines, you graph it, how many scenarios would you see? Give me at least one. All right, so one solution, right? Where what? Where they intersect at one point, and what else? Infinitely many solutions where what? They overlapping, right? They kind of stay on top of one another, and parallel. I mean, they never meet each other, right? I mean, no solution. Bless you. Okay, so that's how I want to remind you of. Now we're going to determine the number of solutions of a linear system of equation. So if I have 2 linear equations, those are lines, right? If they're intersecting, we highlight in green here. If they intersecting, then I have one solution, and I will call that is consistent and independent. Consistent because why is consistent? Because why is it consistent? Because it has a solution. At least one solution means it's consistent. It's independent because 2 lines are not the same, right? They're not like on top of one another. I mean, they're independent lines. If they parallel, I'll highlight in yellow here. If they parallel, then they have no solution. Because they have no solution, we call that inconsistent. And again, because they're not on top of one another, they still independent. As long as they're not coinciding, they're independent. If you have 2 lines overlapping, maybe I'll highlight in black here. 2 lines are coinciding, they mean they're overlapping, then that means you have infinitely many solutions because you have a solution, it's consistent, and because they overlapping, we call that dependent. If the 2 lines are the same, then the slope and the y-intercept is going to be the same. Makes sense, right? Whatever slope and intercept one line has, the other lines have the same. They lay on the same path. If parallel line have the same slope, but they might have different y-intercept. And independent line, the one that have this one solution have different slope, different slope. They kind of different direction, if you will. Sometime. Someone tell me what is different between consistent system and inconsistent system. A consistent system is one solution, inconsistent has no solution. Yeah, so let me highlight it here. I'm gonna erase this so you don't. So consistent mean have what? At least. That means you got at least one solution. If it's inconsistent, thank you. If it's inconsistent, that means you have no solution. No solution. Sometimes people already know no solution as an empty set. I accept that also. For empty set. What's different between dependent and independent? What's different between dependent and independent? Uh-huh. No. Say it again. I didn't. No. Not, maybe I understand what you're trying to say, but not the word you say. Maybe not quite right. Dependent means, why they call it dependence? If you depend on someone, what does it mean? If I have to depend on someone so I can walk, I mean, I have to do what? I have to lean on that person, right? So dependent means what? Two lives is at once, right? They overlapping. Overlapping. You have to depend. They depending on each other. If they're independent, okay, I'll say dependent. You guys say what's independent means? Yeah, they're not dependent. One way to say that they're not overlap, they're not dependent. I mean, they kind of have their own separate path, right? Like either like this or like this, right? Not overlapping, yeah. Not overlapping. Thank you, Sean. Maybe that's the best way to describe it. Easy for you to remember. Okay, what graphing determine the number of solutions to each system, then classify the system of the equation. So first, let's determine the number of solution first. Now we'll talk about the classification. How do I do this? I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use this right here. Right. So in order to use the slope, what do I have to do? What do I have to do? Yeah, I gotta solve for y, right? You see what happened. I gotta solve for y. So let me highlight that in blue. Let me solve for this. Let me rewrite down here. 2.8x plus 0.7y equals 0.1. Subtract. Did you say subtract 2.8x? All right, thank you. Subtract 2.8x. That cancel. So I have 0.7y equal negative 2.8x plus 0.1. Divide both side by 0.7y. What you got? Yeah. 40 something like that. That's you. Hmm? I got 4. Okay, 4. So be negative 4x. Thank you. Negative 4x plus what? Oh, let me go to math to see. 1.7. 1.7. Let me tell you why 1.7.01 over 0.7. Don't write this down. This is mean what? This is what? If I multiply both top and bottom by what? By 10, right? Times 10, both top and bottom, and it become 1.7. Okay. So let me highlight the slope right there. Green, negative 4. What about the other one? That one right there. Is it? Yeah. Let me do it real quick. 0.04x plus 0.01y equal negative 0.06. Subtract 0.01y equal negative 0.04x minus, to the left a little bit, I've run out of room, minus 0.06, divide both sides by 0.01y, I got y equal 4x minus 4x plus 6. Yeah, so they got the same slope. So if the same slope, how many solutions? Same slope. Now, if it's same slope, then either we have this case, or maybe I'll use black, this case or this case, right? Either parallel or what? Or overlapping, either parallel or coinciding. But in order to be coinciding, the what had to be equal? Y-intercept has to be equal, right? But it's not, so it's gonna be parallel. So parallel, conclusion, parallel. Maybe I'll write conclusion in black. And if it parallel, what do we say? What kind of classification it is? Consistent or inconsistent? Inconsistent, no solution, right? Inconsistent. Dependent or independent? Independent. Yeah. Independent. Not our answer. Box it up. I want you to do B. I'll walk around, see how you do it. People from home, please do problem B and put your answer in the chat. Not everything. Just tell me if it what type of solution the system equation have and the classification. Okay. What the answer is. What you guys have? Anyone? Right. So it looked like most people, I don't know the answer until I do this, but most people get coins overlapping, coinciding. Okay, so this one right here is easy, right? All you have to do is add 5/2x. So y equal 5/2x minus 2. Here the slope. And here is, no, here that's the slope. And then the other one, let me highlight in red. This one right here. If I subtract 3/4 x, I got negative 3/10y equal negative 3/4x plus 3/5. I wanna solve for y. So what do? I multiply by both sides by what? Yeah, thank you, Ethan. Negative 10/3. Negative 10/3. Make sure you put parentheses around the right hand side, okay? So that means what? You distribute that negative 10/3 into each of those. On the left hand side, just y. On the right hand side, if I distribute this, let's see, if I distribute what I got, the negative is gone, 3 is gone, negative 10/4, that's 5/2 x. And then distribute to the second fraction, 3 is gone, negative 10 divided by 5 is negative 2. So they're the same. They're the same. Same slope, same intercept. M1 equal M2. Also, B1 equal B2. That imply coinciding. How do I spell coinciding? Coinciding. And because coinciding is consistent, it has at least one solution, is consistent. In this case, we have infinitely many solutions, and then it's dependent. Right? I delete the U try 3, so you don't have to worry about that. I don't have time for you to do the also. All right. Objective 4 is solve the system of linear equation in a sense of application. So they give you a story problem. They ask you to come up with a system equation and solve. Okay. So the step is very similar. First, you read the problem, read through it. You don't understand it, that's fine. I don't understand it either sometimes, but just finish reading it, and then you come back and read sentence by sentence. It'll help. Second, you choose a variable to represent the unknown. Whatever they ask you, for example, they ask you this problem right here. They ask you the number of scoop of each cereal, right? So that's your variable. Third step is write 2 equations, come up with the 2 equations, represent the problem, and then solve. This is the easiest part. And make sure you check your answer if your answer makes sense. Okay. And if you need units, make sure you put units in the problem. And then answer the question in sentence form. Okay. If you already define the variable, I don't need you to do number 6. As long as you define the variable, you can skip step 6. For me, I don't need you to repeat it. I already know what you're trying to do. So for this problem, let me read it for you. For breakfast, you make cereal. For each scoop of honey, or for each scoop of honey nut cereal, you use twice as many scoops of cornflakes. If you have 6 scoops total, find the number of scoops of each cereal. So I got 2 types of cereal here. So I'm gonna say let X be the number of scoop of honey nut Cheerio. Maybe I should say Cheerio. Cheerios. Cheerio. Let Y be the number of scoops of cornflake. Cornflake. Okay, so as long as you define the variable, you don't have to answer the question in sentence form at the end. If you don't, you have to. Okay. All right. So let's set up the equation. What do we have? It say that for each scoop of Cheerio, you use twice as many scoop of cornflakes. So that what does that mean? What does that mean? For each scoop of cereal, you use twice as many scoops of cornflakes. Can someone interpret into math equation? X equal what? Cheerio is X equal to Y, right? For each scoop, you twice as many scoops of cornflakes. The 6 scoop total, so that means what? 6 scoop total. Six scoop total, so that means X plus Y equals 6. Remember, X is Cheerio, Y is cornflake. Then you solve. Well, here you have to solve using what? Using graphing, but I don't want to do that. You know what? You do it by yourself at home. You guys know how to do this, right? You know how to graph. What I'm going to do here for you is I'm going to show you in decimal. Let me show you in decimal. Because I don't want to spend time doing that again next time. Oh, did they ask us to solve or just set up? Yeah, take a look. No, they asked us to solve. Okay. Decimals, I have X equal 2Y. And then here, well, X plus Y equals 6. Right there. So 4, 2, what does that mean? What does that mean? 4 represent what? Represent X, right? 2 represent Y. So what does that mean? Yes. So that means, you know something wrong here. Let me tell you something wrong. I think we set up it wrong. This is 4, 2. For each scoop of honey nut Cheerio, you use twice as many scoop of cornflake. It's supposed to be 2 X plus 2Y equals 6. Scoop total. Let's see. Because it can't be 4, 6. It's 4. Yeah, it can't be 4 and 2. It can be 4 and 2 because the number of scoop of cornflake is twice is 2 here. Let me put 2 here. 3, 1.5. 4 and 2. Does it make sense? 4 and 2. Huh? But they say that for every scoop of honey nut Cheerio, you do twice as many scoop of cornflake. So it's supposed to be 2, 4, right? For every scoop, you use twice as many scoop of cornflake. Hang on, give me a second. Textbook. Supposed to be for every scoop of honey nut Cheerio, you use twice as many scoop of cornflake. Twice as many scoops of cornflake. X equal to Y. Should be X, Y equal to X. Yes, Y equal to X. This is Y equal to X. I'm sorry, here. Because for every scoop of a honey nut Cheerio, you use twice as many scoop of cornflake. So Y equal to X. Let me go back. Don't worry, we have another chance to practice on the 5.2. Y equal to X. Right there, 2, 4. Yeah, it's supposed to be 2, 4. 2, 4. So the solution is 2, 4. So that means you use what? For every, so 2 scoop of Cheerio and then 4 scoop of cornflakes. So that makes sense. Does make sense. Does make sense. Excuse me. All right, thank you, Taylor. Thank you, Madison. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you, Gabe. All right. I'm not gonna. Well, I guess we're done. We're done here. We're gonna continue on section 5.2. But let me stop the recording so I can have a fresh new recording.